Hey there, Giant fans of fun. My name's Thad, the Theme Park Giant, and I'm an avid theme park and roller coaster enthusiast. I've traveled the world, I've ridden over 550 different roller coasters, and I'm bringing some different perspective to it since I'm 6'5" and I'm 275 pounds now. I've lost over 170 pounds the last decade, so I've done a lot of walk of shames on different companies' coasters, and I know all the details that you'll need to know if you're a larger rider in order to be able to ride them. Since I've done all the research and I've traveled all around and I've been booted off of numerous different companies' coasters over the years, I decided to create the Theme Park Giant Big and Tall Ride Guide. I'm starting with the Central Florida parks, SeaWorld in particular, and we're gonna branch out from there. But if you have any anxiety about will I fit on rides, this is your go-to guide. When Kraken opened in 2000, it was a big deal for SeaWorld because this was their first really thrilling ride. It changed the future of the park. Now there's so many more big roller coasters, and as time has gone on, they're backing away from the animals a little more and focusing more on becoming an actual theme park with thrill rides. Kraken is a pretty standard B&M Floorless. It's just under 150 feet tall, goes 65 miles an hour, 7 inversions. Most of them fall right around that same height, speed, number of inversions. And you'll even find that the inversions they do are typically the same, and a lot of it is the same order. So sometimes the B&Ms can get a little repetitive if you're a freak like me that goes all over, but I still really like them. As with most B&Ms, the height requirement, minimum height requirement is 54 inches. There is no max height. As with every other B&M, especially at SeaWorld, you have the test seat out front. Now, a lot of the B&M big boy seats, as they're referred to in the community, can be identified because they have 2 belts instead of the normal 1 belt on a standard seat. So if you see these 2 belts, you're good to go. Now typically on a B&M, they're in rows 4 and 5, and they'll be one of the 2 middle seats. Some of the newer B&Ms have started to put them into other rows, like Hulk at Universal Islands of Adventure has them in, I think, 1, 4, 5, and 8. So you can do front row or last row on those, which is really nice because for so many years I had to ride in row 4 and 5. I don't need the big boy seat anymore, but it was really annoying that you had to sit in row 4 or 5 in the middle too. So I'm glad they're starting to improve that. B&M always has these bucket seats with the things on your hips. So if you have large hips, or a large butt, or large thighs even, for the leg spot, it can be an issue because what you're gonna wanna do is get as far back into the seat so you have more room for the restraint to come down over your chest and stomach. And I say this about every B&M seat because it holds true, but the biggest measurement you have to worry about is the diameter of your chest or your stomach. Yes, your hips and your butt can come into play with getting you further back into the seat, but the biggest thing is 52 inches of diameter anywhere in your upper body is going to make it difficult to ride in the standard seat. You'll likely need a big boy seat. And yes, I add this caveat every time. I'm not saying what size pants you wear. If you wear a 42, I don't care. Measure your actual belly, the full diameter of it, because I wear a 42, but I'm not a 42. Okay, I'm gonna try and do this one-handed, but this comes down over the top like this. You're gonna take your belts and they clip in like so. This seat's very roomy. But yeah, so there you go. Now, I will warn you, just because those latch does not mean that you are safe to ride. There's still a sensor that it has to be down far enough on, and you'll see sometimes the employees will come around and give you an extra shove, and you'll feel that click. And sometimes you won't get there. I've been buckled into B&M rides and not been able to ride them before. Kraken is themed to the mythological sea creature known as, surprise, the Kraken. But out front here, by the entrance, there's quite a bit of theming. They used to have a little more theming back in the day, but they've taken some of it out. Near the end of the ride, you used to be taken down in the Kraken's lair. I mean, I guess you still are, but there used to be these eggs with like real live eels inside of them and some other things, but that's all been taken out now, unfortunately. They did a bit of a re-theme a few years ago, so we did lose one of those cool things. Kraken is not the easiest coaster to actually film off the ride because it's tucked away in a lot of areas where guests cannot really access. So you kind of gotta cheat and walk up the exit sometimes. If you want some decent off-ride views of Kraken and Mako, you can come over here by the seal and sea lion area. I will just warn you, it is very loud though. They're very hungry and they want those fish. And to get those off-ride shots of Kraken, like before, you gotta do some different things. I'm standing in the Mako exit stairway right now. And Kraken does have the modified seats in row 4 and 5, so make sure you check those out if you need them. And the train dispatch is actually one of the cooler things because the floor disappears from right underneath you. There it goes. Monitor inside of Kraken's queue to show that all the sensors have met. So I am buckled into the train. I'm in the standard seat with just the one seat belt. And I find the floorless coasters to have the second most room on the B&Ms, just behind the flying. So I don't know what it is about them, but they're just a little more roomy than like the inverts or like a normal sit down like Kumba. So just remember that. They're a little more forgiving for some reason. definitely starting to show its age. It's almost, well, it's like 24 years old now, and it is getting a little rough. Even though Busch and SeaWorld typically take care of their rides pretty well, this one's starting to show its age. Making our way up the 149-foot tall lift hill. There you go, 65 miles an hour, 7 different inversions. It's gonna rattle our brains. Here we go.
I regret this! I regret this!
Pretty well today.
That actually wasn't that bad. I actually thought it was way worse.
Into the Kraken's lair. There you go. That's Kraken. All right, giant fans of fun, that is going to do it for Kraken. I hope I've answered all your questions about if you're a larger rider, the dimensions necessary, will you fit, which rows you should sit in, things like that. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them in the comments section. I'm happy to answer any of it. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. Get out there and make it a giant day of fun.